Well, good evening, everyone. It's Friday Night Live, and I'm your host, Keith Jowers, and I appreciate each and every one of you watching us here tonight and those that are catching us by replay. As you may know, in the past, Friday Night Live has been hosted under the Dads for Life theme, and we've got some changes coming to that in the beginning of August, and we're excited about actually going back into radio a little bit and kind of just bringing these shows to you on Friday night as part of that show. So we're excited about some changes that are coming along with us and Dads for Life. So I'd like to talk to you tonight about a very important subject, and that is transformed love. But let's kind of back up a little bit and talk about, well, what is transformed? First of all, how do we transform into love? Well, defined as transform is just to make a thorough, actual dramatic change in your life, or the way you're doing things, or your formal appearance. You may see people go from go through a weight loss program and then actually, lose a lot of pounds, and they kind of put a post up that, hey, I've transformed the way I look at things and the way I eat and my weight and my health and so forth. So they've transformed into something new. They've made a dramatic change. So we're setting the mind to have a mindset change for that transformation. So let's talk about that a little bit. In America, we're going through a transformation right now, aren't we? For the last 5 months, have we not been changing the way we're doing things in public and around people with new terms like social distancing? And, all with everything that's happened, we have learned to adjust. Well, some of us. Some of us don't like the changes, and we're not going to change, and it's caused problems in the public eye. But when you transform into doing some things that are different for the betterment of your life, or, just the way you were headed in one direction, now you're heading in a positive direction, it can be a positive change. Now, I know with everything that's been happening in the last 5 months, we have actually had to make some changes, whether we wanted to or not. You can't go into certain stores now without having a mask on. We all know that. It's better for your health, according to the guidelines we've been given, that we transform into wearing a mask when we're around a group of people and when social distancing is not available. So in America, we've been going through this, but how have we looked at it with our attitude? How have we really changed? Are we adjusting? Are we just doing what we're told to do and not really knowing why? Well, I want to talk about transformation of love tonight. And I want to kind of talk about how we've been doing things, and some things have been getting out of hand because we're not even thinking about the word love. We're thinking about doing it our way. And when we disagree with somebody, we get in arguments and violence occurs. And, we can talk about that on a whole other show about all the different views that people have. But tonight I want to wonder, is transformation good if we really apply it for the betterment of ourselves or our lives or our families? So I want to talk about, how do we transform into love? Would it make a difference in your home, in your city, in your state, in our country? Or let's really think big, in our world, if we just practiced loving people a little bit more than hating and disagreeing with them all the time? Oh, I think so. I think if we did that, it would be beneficial to all that are around us. I can hear you saying it now, but Keith, that's impossible. Is it? Is it really impossible for us to love our neighbor as ourselves? Oh, we love ourselves, don't we? I want to think about, there's certain people that have impacted my life in the way of their stories. I may never have met them, but their stories really impact the way I look at things. And one person who really knew how to transform situations into loving ones was one that most of us should know the name of Mother Teresa. She transformed people wherever she went by getting them to see the vision, not just that God had gave her, but the vision that God had gave her to help children and help hurting adults. She was very knowledgeable. She was patient. She was persistent because she believed in something. She believed in something from the heart. And when you believe something from the heart, it can really bless another person. Or it can bless your kids. But when you believe in something from your heart that's not really lovable, it can hurt people. And we've seen the violence that has gone on in our nation recently, haven't we? A classic example of a leader transformer by doing it in love is Mother Teresa. As a sister in the slums of Calcutta, she started in 1950 the organization, the missionary order, to help poor people. But she loved dealing with children. She loved helping children. And she actually had her strength. She knew early in life that her strength would be in numbers. And she would badger popes. Now, she's probably the only one that could ever badger a pope and get away with it. And she wasn't very big at all, right? But it was her passion and her love for other people, for mankind, just as the Bible speaks of. She learned that the strength in numbers as she grew from her 2 or 3 nuns that started helping her would really grow into something big if people would just bite into it a little bit. And she could get other people to love other people. And as of last night, I checked, actually, her sisterhood as of 2020 now has grown from those few nuns back in 1950 to 5,167 nuns in that sisterhood order. Pretty amazing, isn't it? Could that have happened if it had all been about what Mother Teresa wanted to do for herself and it was all about her? No, it couldn't have happened. She sold her passion on love for other people. Think about that. 70 years later, you go from 2 to 3 nuns that started helping her in 1950 to 2020, having 5,167 nuns in that order. And of course, she's passed on now and enjoying the fruits of her labor in heaven. But she was known to be able to sell her vision to willing participants. And what seems to have divided our country is people selling their vision or their agenda to one side or another. And it is just, when I don't see a lot of love in some of these conversations I hear about, or I watch a little bit of the news. I can't watch a lot of that news because I just can't do it, right? It'll really bring you down if you watch too much of it. But I try to get caught up with what's going on. And when I think about Mother Teresa, who could affect, when she was in the presence of presidents, she was in the presence of princes and kings and celebrities. No matter who she was around, she was the same person. It's not like being one person in front of one group of friends and another person in front of another group of friends. She was Mother Teresa, period. And she earned her Nobel Peace Prize in 1979. She accepted it, but it wasn't about her. It was about God's love for the people. So she transformed not only her little community in Calcutta, did she? She transformed the world because she taught a lot of people about how to love people. And I love some of the quotes. Those who have been around following Dads for Life for a while, you know that I like quotes. So the quotes that I kind of picked out of all that Mother Teresa ever said was like, I do not pray for success. I pray for faithfulness. Loneliness and the feeling of being unwanted is the most terrible poverty. I've known a lot of lonely people and a lot of people that felt like they were unwanted. But when you share a little bit of kindness with them and a little bit of love, well, it really does pay off, I think, in the long run, because it's a ripple effect. I talk about the ripple effect. I've taught on the ripple effect with our other programs at Dads for Life, is that when you do something of kindness and you pass it on to somebody else, it can ripple on down to people you'll never know, maybe until you get to heaven. One that I really like that she would say is, yesterday is gone and tomorrow has not yet come. We only have today. I only have today. Today's Friday. This is Friday Night Live. Tomorrow's a new day. But we only have today. We don't know what tomorrow holds. If you judge people, you have no time to love them, Mother Teresa said. She also said, if you want to change the world, go home and love your family. Now, with all the Dads for Life teaching we've done over the years, we're in our 16th year now in our nonprofit organization, and we have done a lot of teaching on that. We really teach on loving your family and being involved in your kids. And that's where I'm going to kind of turn it around tonight and just talk about that a little bit, because your kids are tomorrow's future. Now, they may not always follow your path, being the positive path you try to teach them, but we pray that they'll come back around at some point. But yet, we do our very best. But we have to work on ourselves first, don't we? My friends, I tell you, in my so many decades I've lived now, I've learned that I've had to work on myself first before I could ever help anybody else as a coach, as a dad coach, as a legacy mentor. I can't help nobody else until I help myself first, understand that, hey, I need to work on some things too. We all do. I don't care who you are. We all have to work on some things. So if you want to change the world, go home and love your family. She also said if we really want to love, we must first learn to forgive. That's a big one. Have you ever had to forgive anyone? I can assure you, my wife and I have had to forgive quite a few people. People that would hurt us and knowing they were going to hurt you, but yet they still do it, So it's hard, isn't it? It's hard. You can answer that. You can comment if you'd like. It's hard to forgive sometimes, but it can be done. Not all of us can do great things, she once said, but we can do small things with great love. Do you need to transform things that you do somehow, maybe into love? Study the word love. Study in the Bible. It's mentioned a lot. The point is, tonight, with our Friday Night Live, we're making some changes to bring more lessons of not just to dads, but to the family in general, because we get a lot of suggestions to do this kind of things. So we want to make sure that we're doing what we can to bring messages of hope, of love, of kindness, of truth, of honesty out of our studio 425, which was named after my grandfather because he believed in all those. But our point tonight is to think about this. Our world is a mess. Some of our children are a mess. But to be real honest, some of us are a mess. I've been a mess. Probably still am, occasionally. How do you begin to clean up a mess as Mother Teresa did? And that was with the subject of love. There's been great organizations that have begun and has touched a lot of people through the ripple effect simply because they loved what they were doing, their passion, that what they wanted to do was to help somebody. Many successful organizations started out by helping somebody. Dads for Life started out 16 years ago by helping 4 dads, which is in our logo, 4 dads. And now we're so blessed. We're thankful for what God has done in 16 years, reaching the world. So think about that as we transform some of the things we do in love. And let's go out and encourage and enrich and enhance someone's life today or tomorrow. Let's make sure we start with our children because they truly do need it the most. Till next time, it's Keith Jowers, the host of the Friday Night Live show. We're working on some new logos, by the way, and some new taglines. But I'm the founder of Dads for Life. You can check out more of what we're doing at dadsforlife.com. And until next time, may God bless you, and we'll see you around the web.